Hello, happy Saturday. We are all doing great. Always super excited to be online. Let me know where you're joining in from. Today, we want to talk about the Scrum Market, right? Where is the Scrum Market at? And most especially, I'm dedicated this session for all my to be Scrum Masters and also those who are in there. We're going to talk about the market a bit, kind of give you an insight based from what is happening within the market, and then we are also going to have some time to discuss what are some of your key concerns and see how we can help you. All right. So before we get straight into the discussion, you do understand that when I come on live, it's all about business. It's all about you to understand where you are and to look at how I can help you, right? Unfortunately, most of the time I've not really had the opportunity to come on live often, but the moment I always create an opportunity to be live on, it's always a great opportunity to meet with you, to chat with you, to look at how I can help. And if you have not watched our previous live videos, always make sure you check it on. Also, make sure you're checking on our Facebook, uh, Safe Scrum chat room on Facebook. We put in on videos there every week, so you always have like some great content in there, right? And if you're not yet following us, make sure that you follow us. I see quite a lot of people joining. Hey, Coach Kati, how are you doing? We are doing great. Johnny from Eleanor. Hello, Marie. Akaya, I see you right there. And yes, just let me see where you're watching it from. See, okay, Jenna watching from Philadelphia. I see Irene from Dallas. Hello, Irene. Hope you're doing great. Just let me know where you're joining us from so that we can keep the conversation started on early today. All right. So while you're joining, just let us know where you're joining us from. And before I go about and I start talking about the Scrum Market for today, I know a lot of you have been having some experience with what is going on now. Today we want to talk about what's going on and how you can be able to kind of make a tweet that make you stand out, right? So I see Paul from Las Vegas, I see Susie, I see Roslyn, I see Teresa of Maryland, I see Lahal from Maryland also. I see Arizona. Okay, thank you very much for joining in. So it's a Saturday, and our topic for today is what is going on in the Scrum market. Now, couple of announcements before I roll in. We're starting safe certification class coming Monday. If you're interested to be part of that class, you want to reach out to the number you see on the screen or the email, and we're going to give you information on how to enroll. And the good news is that for those who we're going to be joining on Monday. If you're part of this video, you're going to have a 25% discount. Also, we have our coaching sessions also open. If you're already in the market and you're finding it difficult and want to belong to a practice community, let us know. We can also offer you some discount together. For those who are already in the market and you want to join a practicing community, we can also help you. But then none of our community is free, please. So it has a lot of resources. We share a lot. We support each other a lot. We make you learn what is currently going on inside so that you can stand out in the midst of others. All right. Thank you very much. So next 5 to 10 minutes, I want to talk about the Scrum market. Okay, so what's your understanding of what's going on in the Scrum market now? What's surprising you? Drop that in the box and let us see that. Let me see what your challenges are, so that I also I'm not just talking. I know that I'm answering or I'm dealing with your challenges. Okay, so if we look at what is going on in the Scrum market now, I guess many of you will agree that it's kind of looking at a bit more challenging compared to last couple of months, especially those who have been going out for interview. You also see that it's a bit more challenging with so much going on uh, up now. Now, the first thing, which is kind of, I guess, many people have noticed, is that with all due respect to all recruiters out there, you will see that recruiters are negotiating low now, right? I guess if you're within the US market, you see most of the recruiters that are calling you now, like, oh, we offering 45, and some even go as low as $40 an hour, 50, we can go above 50. And a lot of you have been asking the question, is it that the companies are dropping down the pricing, or they're not willing to pay that much now, or what's going on? So that's the first thing we want to talk about. And I also want to know your opinion. Might be wrong, what I'm thinking, but then uh, my observation is that nothing has really changed in the market, but we've had a lot of desperate people who are going in the market. And because of that, what is happening? Because so many people are becoming so desperate to get into the market, and they are willing to accept almost anything. What is happening is that recruiters now are using the advantage and trying to negotiate low, right? You will agree with me that when you sound more or less like desperate, right? When you sound, I don't want to say you're desperate, but when you sound more or less like desperate, what happened is that they try to take advantage of you, which is what you probably might not pay attention that that is how you're sounding, but in most of the cases, that is the bigger challenge we're having in the market today, and why many recruiters are now stepping down their prices. So you call you, oh, we have an opportunity. It's we're offering, let's say, $45 an hour, and why? Because they know that even if you don't take it, someone next is willing to take it. Okay, so for anyone in the job market right now, couple of stuff you want to know when you talk to recruiters is that the relationship between the companies and recruiters don't have the power to determine the sole price, right? So if I'm a recruiter, for instance, and I know a hiring manager in Bank of America, I'm gonna strike a negotiation with that hiring manager, and I will tell the hiring manager, okay, you know what? I can look for you 10 Scrum Master. So I'm go out there, I look for the talent, I do my pre-interview. Now I'm gonna strike a conversation with the hiring manager. How much are you willing to pay? The hiring manager says, I'm willing to pay $80 an hour for any Scrum Master you bring in that meet up our certification. And then I will go out there and I say, okay, I'm going to bring you 10 Scrum Master. I'll go out there. I'll try to negotiate as low as much as possible. Why? If I can strike a better deal, I'm in a better position. So, so if I know that a lot of people are desperate, I'll try to negotiate as low as possible so that I have a high cut, right? But if I know that a lot of people have experience or they know what they're doing and they are not willing to undersell their value, I'm going to still go for better people. So in that case, what is going to happen is the fact that now, for those who understand value, they want to understand first thing, know your market price. If you're in New York, if you're in California, what is the average? Go online, go on Glassdoor, do your assignment. What is the average? If you're in the UK, wherever you are, look for the market average. Now you don't want to go below the market average. If we do the market average for Scrum Master in the United States, it is not $45. It's above that right now. So why will you be accepting that? There's definitely no reason. When it's even not a full-time position, it's a contract position. So, but then for you to be confident in your negotiation, you need to know what exactly you are doing, which means that you need to understand how to facilitate as a scrum master and what the scrum market is all about. Now, because if I call you and I say, okay, look, I have a position, I'm offering $45. And I said, okay, look, my average, the least I can take is 70. And I'm gonna ask you, why are you offering $45? Is it that this position doesn't require any work, or why were you offering that low? Because The recruiter understand that you know your what. They are willing to pull a conversation with you and to strike a balance with you. Maybe both of you can end now at 55 or 60. But if they say, oh, 45, it's like, oh, I've never had a position that's 45. I go for that. What happened? You are underselling yourself. So you want to make sure that you understand the market value, stay at the market value. If everyone stay at the market value and nobody is willing to go down because they are desperate, obviously you will see those negotiations shooting back up. Right. Now, the Scrum market is not a quick hop, please. Very important. It's not a quick hop. It's not something, if someone told you that, okay, look, this market you can get in today, in less than 2 weeks, you'll get a job, it's a no. If you get in that way, you will lose it that way. For anyone coming to my community, I always tell you it's an average of 90 days. Which and within that 90 days, you need 16 hours to study for the certification. So the rest of the time you're practicing, not doing question and answer, not watching YouTube videos. YouTube videos are good. Okay. YouTube videos are good. But the most important thing that's going to help you is for you to practice. So if you are not in a community where you can practice on how to facilitate as a Scrum Master, where you're practice and you're looking at how they are running projects side by side on the board, you can be part of that board, you can be observing what you're going on, then you're not learning. You realize that even after 6 months, you won't have the ability to negotiate on a quick note. Now, I had people in my community that probably have been there for above 90 days, but then immediately they get an opportunity to sit in front of the right people, they are getting in there, they are beating within their first interview. So if you are kind of taking you longer, it's an opportunity for you to learn. But then the question is, are you in a community where you're learning, where you're getting yourself, you're practicing? If not, you realize that the first day you get a job, you want to start practicing, right? And you now that's where we call it tyranny of the urgent. It's now urgent. Oh, I need to know it. I'm starting a job next week. I don't yet know what to do. I need a community. This is time for you to practice that. If you can practice and know exactly what to do, trust me, you can bargain. You can bargain the price. So, very important. My key message for today is that don't undersell your value. But remember, you only have a value if you are practicing. You only have a value if you are practicing. And you cannot practice by watching YouTube videos. No matter how many YouTube videos you have, you can go on an interview, super do well, but when you get into the real environment, you're still going to have a challenge. So let's practice. Get yourself in a community. You don't have to come to my community, right? I focus on practice, practice, practice. I teach you how to get the fish in my community. I don't do it for you, right? So if you want to get in a community, make sure they're pushing you to do it. Don't just go sit somewhere that you want to ask questions whenever you need help, and that doesn't work, and that will not help you. Okay, very important. So, how can you stay on top of your goal? Keep on learning, keep on learning, keep on learning. Now, this is my trick for everyone that want to sustain in that want to really, really stay in the market. You want not to only learn about Scrum. Okay, Scrum is not about facilitating and removing impediment. No, Scrum is not about facilitating and removing impediment. Scrum is about delivering business value faster in a more quality way where we have limited mistakes. So if you know yourself as a Scrum Master, my goal is to facilitate event and help them remove impediment, you are underselling your value. As a Scrum Master, when you get into any team, your goal is to understand the business value, what product they are working on, and to help the team deliver that product based on the schedule, product roadmap, and the release plan. So, as a Scrum Master, your goal is to work with a team and help them support the implementation of the roadmap and the release plan. So if you can talk in terms of the business value which you're helping a team deliver, you realize that your communication is different from any other person who is on that interview. So there's, even if there are 500 Scrum Master taking those interviews, you realize that just from the way you understand it, you get it. I had one of the person from our community, and he went for an interview that was supposed to be a 3 round interview. And within his first interview, he asked, okay, now this was a question, and this is what is true in the market. And the question was, we have seen, although Scrum Master are supposed to be servant leader, we constantly see Scrum Master that are more servant than leaders. We constantly see Scrum Master that are more servant than leaders. Now we see Scrum Master that they want to rely on their manager on what to do, or on their PO on what to do. So it more or less seems like they are reporting to their PO or to their manager, because everything they want to do, they want to ask, they want to ask. A Scrum Master is supposed to be a coach. You are supposed to be coaching the PO and your manager how to implement the Scrum framework. But most of the time, what's happening? This is missing. And because this is missing, you realize that you are being given instruction and they kick you around everywhere. And you lose the value of becoming a Scrum Master. You don't want that to happen to you. How can you close this gap? Be in a community where you're learning. If you're interviewing for the next 90 days, be learning in such a way that when you get that opportunity, it should be that you have been working for the past 3 months. Right. That is the kind of opportunity community we offer. And that's why we're not quick to kind of get people into our team, because we're definitely not looking for your money. I always tell everyone, I'm not kind of really obviously myself. Like, if you're opportune to be in my community, it's a plus for you. Why is it a plus for you? Because I put you to learn the right stuff. Why is it a plus for you? Because definitely, if I want to charge for the value I'm creating or what I'm teaching you, you will not be able to pay for it. Now, for anyone who understands what coaching is all about, when we talk about coaching, it's not about teaching you Scrum. It's about helping you do the right stuff. It's about helping you build a career. A lot of people are Scrum Master, but they don't have a career. Now, having a career is beyond a job. And when you don't have a career, what happens? You sound so desperate. When you have a career, you can be able to strike a conversation every time T, and you realize that you win it. You can be able to go for position that are even beyond Scrum. I've had people not without any Scrum experience getting into Agile. That people, when I see how you put in, I say, okay, going for an Agile coach position. And how is that person able to cope? Because we build system and communities that are able to support. All right. This session was definitely not to go into more detail about that, but definitely that was to help you understand that you need to stay on top of your value. Do not let recruiter kick you around because, oh, there's so many people in the market now, and then they're bringing you down. That already show that you have no value. And that is why, although you agree and you side a right to represent someone, go and negotiate higher, they will go with that person because they know that person has much value, and that person is going to represent them better in front of their hiring manager. Now, although recruiters want to get as much within the sector, they also very much keen that they want to present the right candidate in front of the hiring manager. So all they do is not like the person that accept low. No, they go for the person that shows them the value. That's why they take time to talk with you. They want to understand how you perceive, especially if you're talking to recruiters that are hiring directly for the company. These recruiters are trained to understand who they need to hire, what they should be looking for. And if you're having conversation with recruiter all the time and you're not moving to the next level, is because you are not creating what they need, right? So you can join. There's a number that's on your screen. Just send me a text, and then we'll send you information on what you need to take. Okay, now this that was my time advising you what to do. Now this is time for you, right? I have about 30 minutes. And next 30 minutes, what I want to do is that I want to be able to answer all your questions, all your worries, and look at how I can be able to help you advance within this couple of days. What is the market looking like for the next 2 years, November, December, before the end of the year? How can you take advantage of that? What are some of your questions and your challenges? Drop them in the chat box now, and let's look at how we can handle these questions, right? Um, so I'm rolling it over to you now. Let's get into our Q&A. But then I hope the first part of the information is very important. Don't be discouraged if you're not getting it as quick as you wanted. What you should be concerned is, am I learning new stuff? Am I putting myself where I'm continuously learning? Now you want to be able to build new skills. Learn more on agile product delivery. When you learn about Scrum and you feel like you master Scrum, take a step ahead. Start learning about agile product delivery. That goes to tell you what is happening at the level of leadership, at the level of program, and right down to the team. In that way, when you actually talk, you talk like a master, right? That's the right thing you need to do. Okay. Let's say I have a question. I want to know what can I expect in a second interview. Now, whether it's a first interview, a second, a third, a fourth, there is no certain thing designed to say in the first interview you'll get this, in the second interview you'll get this. What you should be concerned is mastering what is the role of a scrum master in agile product delivery. What role do you play? Understanding how you can support the company, not just a team, right? How do you support the company? And you support the company when you understand the product roadmap and the release planning. Now, when we talk about release planning, there are two environments. Remember, there are safe environment and there's a Scrum environment. In a safe environment, their release planning is equivalent to their PI planning. With the PI planning, they plan on getting the futures they're going to be working on within their PI circle. A PI circle might range somewhere from 8 weeks to 12 weeks. So everything they plan there is like their release planning. Now, and what is your role? Now, if you work in a Scrum environment, your release planning is going to be based on the roadmap and how they plan to roll out the futures. And what your role there as a Scrum Master is to make sure that you understand when futures are planned to roll out, and you monitor the stories that are part of those futures and how they are and how they're being completed. So before every feature is rolled out, you want to always double check and make sure that every story that is stuck on that feature is effectively rolled out. All right, very important. Now, thanks, Doctor. I'm having a three-stage interview with the architectural consultant. What kind of questions should I expect? Okay, no matter who you're having an interview with, the first mistake a lot of people do that kick them out of the game is that they want to try to be like the environment they're interviewing in, which is a mistake. Just imagine, okay, you said you're having an interview with an architectural consultant. Now, you've never been in an architectural environment. And because you feel like you're having an interview with the architectural environment, then you try now to start acting like them. What are you going to do? You cannot come into my environment and you pretend to be the expert. Your biggest advantage is what you know. What do you know? You know how to support a team to deliver value. You know how to support a team to focus on what is the product roadmap, what is the release plan, how do we get it on time. And this is going to go like, oh, you don't have any architectural background, how are you going to be able to help the team, right? That's kind of what you're asking. Oh, what should I expect? I don't have an architectural background. You don't need to. The reason why a Scrum Master position is a functional position, not a technical position. So if I am being asked, oh, you don't have a technical background, how are you going to support the team? Now, the Scrum Master role is not a technical role, number one. Secondly, the reason we create story as user story and the reason we work with product roadmap and release planning and ensure that all of these items don't have technical knowledge. And because the stakeholder doesn't really understand all the jargons and the code the developers are doing. So they need someone that can bridge the gap, be able to understand the technical work in the non-technical way, in the user way, and effectively facilitate that communication. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for someone that if I was that technical, I shouldn't be applying for a Scrum Master role. It should be applying to be one of your developer or one of your cloud architect, right? So pay attention on what you know as a Scrum Master, the value of the Scrum Master. If you can master that, there's no interview that you will get in, and you will not be able to go through. Next question says, I have a problem. I have been receiving calls from recruiter, but I'm unable to get to the next level for an interview. What actually do you think is wrong? I have been the job market now for more than 3 months. Please, I need advice. Okay, the first thing that you want to double check is your resume. Now, and the second thing you want to double check when you receive those calls, are you able to effectively represent yourself? So, if your resume is right and you're not able and you can effectively represent yourself, then I don't think you have a problem. Now, you need to understand also, it might also be how aggressive you are in application. You need to understand that for every application you're sending in now, you're competing against about 500 people. So sometimes the reason you don't even get called don't it doesn't have anything to do with the problem. It's not even the problem. Sometimes it's because you have not been so aggressive enough to get into that point. Most of those who have been able to secure interview, they will tell you how many applications they are putting in a day to get those interview. You'll be surprised. But then I would say, if you've not had someone, not a professional, please. It's a lot of mistake. Some of the mistake a lot of people do is that they try to get how am I gonna call them? They try to go on some sort of website, get people that are resume writer, and they put a lot of, if you can excuse my language, they put a lot of rubbish stuff on your resume. If you cannot effectively look at your resume and defend every line you have there as a Scrum Master, don't present that resume. It's not about having a fancy resume, it's having a resume that coordinate value. So if you do all of those double check, you know, master that your resume contain a lot of value and you can be able to defend that, then you want to be able to go for that. Okay, let me give you a free secret, right? Because you're following online. And for this free secret, one thing you need to do is that make sure you're sharing this video. This is a free secret for all of you. How do you ensure that your resume stand out, and how do you ensure that you have a good resume? Okay, go and look at those who are working as Scrum Master or those who you trust that I think this person is a good Scrum Master. Secret, go and look at their LinkedIn profile, right? If you click on my LinkedIn profile, for those who are watching on my LinkedIn, you see how my tell me about myself is presented. You see how the different position I've worked is presented. You see the language I use there. That is what should be like your description. But then don't go copy an agile coach description and put. Look for those who are within the Scrum Master. Look at how they describe their role as a Scrum Master there. Those who are doing well. You probably have some, not everyone that's in the job market, people that really you can follow them that produces some great content. Look at Scrum Masters that are working. Look at their LinkedIn profile that stand up. Try to even reflect. Sometimes the recruiters are gonna call you, right? They call you. You present your resume. They go check your profile on LinkedIn. It doesn't balance up. They can call you. So that's a very big secret. You can be able to leverage LinkedIn, go through profiles of about 5, 6, 7 outstanding Scrum Master or outstanding Agile coach. Study the way they capture their information. Scrum Masters are working with the Bank of America, and then gather information from there, but only take out what you can defend. So I just give you a very big hack there, right? Make sure you put a thumbs up, make sure you're liking and sharing that video. In that case, you can easily, when you compare that, Don't just be unaware on your own. That's why engaging in communities are very important. You should invest your money to be part of communities, right? Sometimes people are like, oh, it's too expensive. I spend now. There's no amount of money that you're gonna spend that you would tell me is too much to get a Scrum job. It's a six-figure job, guys. Even if you spend $20,000 and you've not had it, right? That's within your first 3 months, you're gonna close that. So sometimes you need to be fair to yourself, to push yourself, stop yourself from some of those stuff that you feel like you can do without. Invest in yourself. Many of you don't want to invest in yourself, and that's the reason why it's difficult for you to go faster. You realize something that could take you like 2 months, 3 months is taking you now 6 months, and you get faded. You get exhausted along the way. You back out. You don't want to get to that position. All right. So, how do you showcase a product you've worked on to an interviewer without bringing out the company's information? All right, you don't have to bring up a company's information, right? You can say, okay, now when a company is working on a product, for instance, if you work, most Scrum Masters that work with companies that they need security clearance, you realize that you cannot talk about the project, but you can say, hey, we were working on a project that helped XYZ do this. You're not disclosing the you're not sharing the company information. The company information means like you're sharing their backlog, the stories they're working on, and all of that. But it is okay to say, okay, I work for the, let's say, I work for, how do you call it? I work for I work for Uncle Sam, right? I work for the taxation company, and what we do is that we help to process all the taxes for people and ensure that they have the right taxes, ensure that everyone is capable of filing their tax on time. You're discussing that. You're not disclosing the social security of those who are working. You're discussing what the project is doing. So you can still stay that you don't have to go into detail on uh, every stuff that they do. Now, the reason we communicate in Scrum and business value, because business value is a generic language, right? You don't go to start talking about maybe so detailedly we build an application, and this application was leveraging this technology, and it blend XYZ, and it integrated. You don't go so technical. Focus on the business value and what you're trying to deliver. In that case, you're not showcasing the information. It's just what is the outcome. No matter what you're building, is to help someone, right? As Scrum Master, you work in a company to create a business value. Business value are meant to help people accomplish work. What you're discussing is the business value, and business values are not confidential. No matter what company you're working on, they can present their business value to everyone, but they cannot go and share their database to people. Those are what is confidential, right? And if you work on any information that is confidential that you don't need to disclose, don't disclose it. You need to pay attention to that. Um, I've pretty much kept my Scrum experience with my present company, and would like to let me take the next level. Can you elaborate on agile delivery? Trying to increase my Scrum knowledge. So agile delivery is understanding how a team. Okay, let me explain a bit on this. Before a company ever brings you on board and they make a decision to say we're giving a 6 months contract, we're giving a 4 months contract, we're giving this contract with the opportunity to extend, is because they have worked on the product roadmap. And the product roadmap is based on milestones. And when we define those milestones, we go ahead to start talking about product delivery, right? When are we supposed to get what out? In what manner? What is our spring or iteration cycle? Are we going to leverage SAFe, or are we going to leverage Scrum? Right. So that is agile product delivery. It kind of gives you an overview, not just what happened at the team level. The biggest challenge we have, why Scrum Master get into a team and they feel like, oh, I feel like I'm not contributing to value. I feel like I'm not helping my team. I feel like I'm lost. Because when they get in, they're trying to understand what is in the backlog, right? And they're trying to understand how to facilitate event. What is in the backlog is an integral part of the product roadmap. And maybe by the time you came in, they have been working on this for at least 6 months, 7 months. So for you to even have an idea, because you're jumping in the middle, you need to retrospect back and have conversation on where they started, where they are now, what business they are creating by doing this. So the reason you can effectively coach a team is to show them how what they're doing, the code you're writing as a back end developer. That code is going to contribute for us to deliver a business value. What this? So if you call off and you don't come to a daily stand up, you are putting the company in danger to lose a business. What this? That's the language everyone understands. Right. So, and that is more about agile project delivery. Okay. So, the next question say, most Scrum Master job require technical skill. How do you Scrum Master bridge this gap? Uh, when you say Scrum Master job require technical skills, now many Scrum Master that are technical position, if you don't have technical skill, don't apply for them. And when they talk about technical skills, sometimes they need a scrum master that's also a developer. They need a scrum master that understand coding. If you don't have that, then don't go for it. Generally, scrum master role is a non-technical role. If you have done safe scrum, you realize that an anti-pattern of a scrum master, the scrum master is technical. Why is it an anti-pattern? Let's say that you are facilitating a team, right? And you understand how to be able to code using Python and Java. And you've been doing this, you know how to do this. You know that, okay, in order to build a code, this code is going to take us less than 1 day. And then there's one of your developer who has not been able to finish that within 2 days. Because of your technical know-how, you will start managing them, not coaching them, right? So one of the reasons why the role of a Scrum Master is defined as a non-technical role is because they don't want the Scrum Master to start prejudging what the developer is doing, but to be able to question and understand them from that non-technical view and how they can help them. So companies that are demanding for technical Scrum Master and are getting their Scrum Master to engage in the technical stuff, they are heading themselves into a roadblock. Do you know that the company Nokia was one of the first to start implementing Agile, but they still did not succeed? And when you look at the case study, why they did not succeed is because they were focusing on training people to know what Agile is, to understand the in and out, the technicality of it, and they failed to balance that with the business outcome, the business value. Because of that, they could not succeed. So companies are looking for technical. Sometimes I say, look, you're just pushing yourself to go in the wrong environment because you start getting into the technical and you feel like a Scrum Master is supposed to be really technical. Do I encourage you to be technical? Yes. Take some classes on AWS. Take some classes on Udemy. You don't have to go on professional class on DevOps. Understand what it means. Understand what DevOps means. Understand the different environment understand what automation means, right? Understand what user acceptance testing means. Get a general understanding on that, but you don't have to be technical person on that. Okay, very important. Does the number of years mentioned on a resume reason why some resume could be chosen over others? I have 7 years on a lot of yes. The number of years of experience play a lot. So if you have 7 years experience as a Scrum Master. Now, what is going to happen is that most top companies are going to come after you. But as they're coming after you, right? Most top companies that were established, they will come after you because they can pay the price. Now, because you have 7 years, you have the capacity. So if you have 7 years of experience on your resume, you don't have to negotiate below $75. So if I see 7 years of experience on your resume and you say, oh, I can take $45, I start questioning the 7 years, did Ray, right? So the numbers of years on your resume also kind of show advancement and you can negotiate better. Your resume will sell more better for companies that want higher level, right? Now, for companies that do not want so one with a lot of experience, when they look at your resume, they would not really prefer you because they know that you're going to be more expensive. So maybe companies that you could easily get easy access to, you also be missing them. So always play a balance. I always recommend between 4 and 6 years is kind of way to go. When you master and you practice and you master, 7 years, okay, go have fun with it. All right, so that's what's that disclaimer again? So I'm definitely just giving you idea that you can take it. It's not certified idea, right? It's my idea. So it's not standard what is in the market. Okay, very important. Now the next question says most project manager now look for people with Scrum Master certificate. What's your take on that? Um, and sometimes the job search for Scrum Master come up with project management position, even though that's right. Right. For project manager, they are looking for agile project manager. So project management now is requiring a lot of agile skills in there. So if you search Scrum Master, you see a lot of job put in for project manager because the companies are already situating themselves to create that the shift. So if you read a project management position and you realize that more than 80% of what they're demanding is more close to Scrum, you can still go for it. I was talking with one of our community members, and then they work as a project manager currently for a big company and they're preparing them already to transition to Scrum. So it's happening right now. Okay, so and the next question says, do having safe Scrum Master certification better than PSM because a lot of job apply? Yes, Scrum, with all due respect to Scrum Alliance and Scrum.org, safe is the key. Safe is the key. Why do I say safe is the key? Because it's key. It's advanced PSM and CSM. If I can put it much better, right? And which is the reason I focus on teaching just safe, right? A lot of people come to me, oh, are you still going to teach us PSM and CSM? No, when I teach you safe, with that knowledge, you can go take your PSM and you're going to pass without any challenge. Why? Because safe doesn't only teach you on how uh, to use the Scrum guide, right? It teaches you how to participate in program level. So you are part of the people creating the release plan, which is what happened during the PI planning. You can see how the backlog is prioritized. You can see what other teams is doing. You have a better knowledge of collaborating and facilitating. So I will always advise everyone to go for safe certification. And we're having a safe certification class coming on Monday. If you want to join that, send a text to the number on your screen. I'm going to shoot you details on how to join that session. I have changed my resume now 3 times for the past 3 months since I started applying for, and all these resumes are in the system. What advice do you give to me? Okay, if you change your resume 3 times, it means that there's a problem, right? And there's possibility that you change it again the fourth time, which means you have not found a solution. So you rather than thinking about how to get that out of the system, you should be thinking, how do I get a resume that I'm confident with? Now, one of the advantage of people who are within our system is that uh, they have the confidence that they have a resume that's competitive. So if you're not having interview, the problem is not always your resume because we ensure that you have a standard resume that's competitive in the market. The problem is, okay, what am I doing wrong? right? So we try to figure out what you're doing wrong. Now, if you've changed your resume 3 times, now a couple of stuff that you might want to do, and that's why I always advise everyone have a track all the applications you're putting in. Maybe you might not track all the easy applies, right? And what's going to recruiter. But for every application you're applying on major site like Bank of America, West Fargo's, and TD Bank, and all the rest, all of them are in the system. Now, let's say you change your resume and um, you go to your database and you realize that I've applied on 10, 15 companies. Now go to this company and go on their career portal, log in their career portal. You can update the information they have in their system with your new resume. You're not going to have any conflict. But if you have no idea where you've been applying for, it's definitely that you're going to have that conflict. But if you realize you're in the stage where you cannot figure out what you've done in the past or so, it's okay. Just keep applying, right? When someone calls you and say, "Oh, I have 2 resumes," okay, take this one. And if they don't want to take that one, forget about them. Move on to the next person, right? You owe no one an apology. As simple as that. You owe no one an apology. You are in the survivor of the fittest language, right? I'll clearly say the world is a selfish world, and you want to be able to play your own game. So you don't want to say because of one company that will not want to call me because I have 2 resumes, I'm going to completely back up of the market. No, there's so many opportunity. Pull along. You're gonna get someone that like you despite your shortcoming. That is the game. Okay. I'm being too real, right? But that's the reality. So one of the stuff, if you follow my channel, I don't try to buy you in, and that's why I don't like to talk about, oh, it's a 6-figure job, you need to come. Many people are focusing on the 6-figure job, and they're not investing in what they need to get to the next level, and because of that they're frustrated. So do what you need to do. Pay the price you need to pay. It might take you 3 months, it might take you 4 months, it might take you. Do it. If you do it, the Scrum market is not going anywhere. And someone just said here that when you search for project management, all you're seeing is Scrum. Everyone is transitioning. Different major states are transitioning all their IT department to Scrum. I spoke to someone said we're looking forward to hire about 120 Scrum Master within the next quarter. Why? Because they're transitioning the whole of their IT department. It's a very huge company. Now, within the next quarter. So if you do what you need to do now, you're not going anywhere. Don't be so desperate that you now are eating your tomorrow today. Right? I always say, look, when you get into Scrum, don't think about the job. Think about where you want to go to. There is so much career within the Scrum that you can get. The people that are even applying for program manager position now, they study Scrum, but because of what they have learned, they qualify to apply for program management. So it's so much value for you guys. Don't be desperate. Do the learning. If you don't do the learning, you become desperate. Can you please elaborate on Scrum Master role in PI planning? Okay, that's a whole session, Maradine. That's a whole session. If you, I think I did a video on that. I'm gonna try to reshare that video on PI planning, or if you can send me a direct message, I can share with you one of my previous classes I've taught on PI planning. Then it's gonna help you kind of digest that, right? That's a bonus for you being online. I can share you one of my private classes I've taught on PI planning, and you should be able to get that there. All right. What is the longest someone can stay in a community with a current hardship of getting a Scrum job? Question, good question. There's no hardship, right? The reason you're in a community is because you want to learn the right thing to do. And if you're doing the right thing, you realize that the time is not the issue here. Many people like, oh, I want to get a job within 2 months. I want to get a job within 3 months. I want to get a job within 2 weeks, but you are not doing what it takes to get a job within 2 weeks, within 3 months. If you want to get a job within 2 weeks, how many applications are put in? What is the maturity period for you to apply and get on your first interview? How long will the interviewer take for you to go through all the rounds? you realize that 30 days is not even enough. And then you set goals that are not realistic. And because of that, you feel like, oh, I need it before this, I need it before this. Now, if we all knew how to get that job as soon as possible, maybe we'll not come online, right? Just being realistic. I'll just call my cousin. Hey, look, I know how to give you a job in 2 months. Come, get here, do this, do this. I know how to give you a job in 1 month. Do this, do this, do this. These are false promises that communities out there are giving you. Oh, we're gonna help you get it in 30 days, or we're gonna guarantee you. Then if they could guarantee that job, they will give it to the family members. All right. So I tell everybody, if you come to my community, I'm not the one giving you the job. I do what it takes for you to position yourself to give you a job, right? We run 2 masterminds a week, 2 major masterminds a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays. They are super powerful. We don't just do Scrum, we do coaching. We teach you how to schedule your day, how to buy time. We teach you on the books that you should be reading so that when you get on an interview, you know what to say that no other person is saying. Then you have your own focus group, a scrum group. You assign a project, you're working on it. You have a shared backlog of about 10 to 15 people working on it. You can exchange, you can see excuses that people are giving because they cannot come to your weekly scrum meeting. It start helping you to understand what running a scrum team is all about. If you can do that, there is nothing that will stop you from winning, right? Except you deliberately don't want to get it. But to say that, oh, look, this is okay, my average is 90 days. But I've seen people who are very, very good. They know it, they are teaching others, and they've been staying for 6 months. It doesn't mean that they don't know. It's about time and processing. Someone said, oh, what's the success rate of your community? How quick? I said, no, that's not the information you need. I've seen people they get in less than 60 days they're picking a row. I've seen people they get in less than 30 days they're picking a row. But you cannot use that to measure your own success. They're coming from different community. They have different style. They're operating from different angle. I've seen people they come in because they know someone that works somewhere. They just want to come and learn. Immediately they're ready to go in. Then if I present that to you, you'll be motivated in the wrong direction. Right. So I give you the data. It can take you a year. It's worth it. How many people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, go do a bachelor for 3 years, come out, they don't have a job? Now, how much are we paying to learn how to be Scrum Master? And some people are not even patient enough to wait for 6 months and do the right thing and get on the job. And like, oh, I'm fed up. I'm in the market for 3 months. I'm fed up. I'm in the market for this. I'm not getting a call. And sometimes when I receive some of this call, which is one of the reasons why most people that want to join my community, I don't entertain calls. Okay. Now, this is the reason, not that I don't want to talk to you. This is the very simple reason, which if everyone can understand this, not just for me, it's going to really help you. Now, for you to make a decision to be part of something is not about you validating. Now, if I get on a call with you, I can convince you in less than 5 minutes to get on my community. But that doesn't really help you in any way. Now, what I do, I give you the information to find out yourself what you need. And if that is what you need, you make the decision to now get in the community. Now you are self-motivated. When you are self-motivated, it's easier for me to help you succeed. Now, if I motivate you, you're relying on my motivation. And if I don't meet your expectation, you become depressed and feel like, oh, you were not given the right information. Look, you are getting in a role of a leadership. Leadership is about self-discipline. It's being self-motivated. Now, when I come online, it's to share information. It's not to motivate you to get into my team, to come to my coaching. Now, I'm giving you the right information, helping you to make the right decision. It doesn't matter where you're heading to. The goal for you is to make the right decision, right? This is a part of coaching which a lot of people don't get. And they get where they say, okay, let's answer question. We have 150 questions here. Let's go through that. How do you answer this? How will you answer this? I had this in my interview. How did I answer this? Okay. That is good, but that is only about 20% of what you need. Majority of what you need is the maturity and leadership on how to pull those conversations. So very, very important for everyone to understand. It's not going to be as fast as you want it. It's going to be as fast as you can learn it and go in there. And lastly, before I take my leave, you need to be studying. Look, you need to want it like never before. You need to change something for something to change. Many of us, okay, this is kind of hard, but many of us want to be Scrum Master, but we're not behaving as Scrum Masters. We're still doing the same thing we're doing. We cannot even sacrifice an hour or call off a day from work because we want to achieve something. Oh, I'm working up to this time. The only time I have is this. I can only do this when I'm free. I'm free. Your brain is still where you are. Your brain is not yet trained to take the step you want to take. How do you expect yourself to succeed? That's a question for you, not for me. So you realize that despite how many communities you're joining, you're not still having success because your mind has not done the transition. Your actions are trying to do the transition, but your mind is putting you to where you're focusing on. So, very important. Very important. All right. For anyone who is in here, yes, I can give you a discount. That's gonna end by the end of today, or probably by the end of tomorrow. Just send me a text, and should be able to work on that by the end of today, right? So, that is Emma there. You can take my number from the screen. If you rewatch that, you can take that or check on any of my most of my videos are gonna have my number, but not most of the recent one, right? Uh, and please, for those who are reaching out to me, don't call. Send a text. Okay, this is me. I need this, and I will better help you. When it comes to call, I always tell people the reason why I don't pick calls. Just imagine we have more than 60 people following from LinkedIn. On YouTube, there are a lot of people. If I have to pick those calls, just put yourself, not that I'm too big to pick your call. No, when I have the chance, I obviously talk to all my students, right? When something I said, come in, kid, tell me what you want. Like, do you have a minute to talk? I always tell you I don't have a minute to talk. Why? But then look, this is my challenge. I need help with this. If it's what I need to call you, I'll call you, give you the directive. If it's what I need to sit down and coach you, I will schedule you, sit down and coach you. But just getting on the phone, no, it's a no, no, no. Why? Because talking is a whole lot of mental work, right? So I put in a lot of time in building content and not in talking. Talking doesn't really help a lot. Okay. Uh, and the last question for today says that, do you have an interview prep community? Yes, I have an interview prep community. People are already taking the course. Yes. It's not okay. I call it a school of practice. It's not an interview prep. So what you do when you get into my community, very important, is that let me give you the stages. We onboard you. We have a study portal which we enroll you in. The study portal have some of the basic that you already should know. And we have all basic questions, about 150, the one you have on my side. You have access to them. Now, when you master that and say, you know what, I mastered the basic. Now you sit down with me and I do an assessment where I interview you and I see that, okay, this is the level where you are. Now we enroll you in a project group. The project group is where you start practicing facilitating project, and you have a project leader. And then you say to your project leader, I think I'm ready to start taking interview. The project leader, your not project leader, your team leader or your team coach is going to interview you and say, you know what? Yes, your team leader recommend you to be next level, where team coaches, you go through different interview with team coaches and go through the final interview with me. And we, by doing this, we work on your resume, we work on your case study, we make sure you're doing the right thing, you're saying the right thing. And when we see that you're ready to go for the market, we promote you to our premium community. Now we have a premium community. We have the preparatory within our school of practice. We have the preparatory, and now the premium is for those who are ready. The premium is where you have the opportunity to facilitate more than 30 other people to sit on the spotlight in a team and facilitate in a panel, learn most of those advanced skills. So there is nobody in our community that's not learning at any time T. Our weeks are very busy, a lot of learning to plug in, a lot of opportunity. You go as fast as you can. But if you're too busy, you can only take maybe come online when you finish work at 10 p.m. in the night. Sorry, you might still be in there, you don't get anything. All right. All right, perfect. So, if you already self-certified, how do I join my community? Okay, I'm going to put my number on the screen right now for anyone that want to join my community. Send me a text message or WhatsApp message, and I'm going to share with you the information that you need in order to join my community. So, right here on the screen, that's gonna be the number you want to text. Send a text like I want to join your. Now we have three communities. Uh, one of the first communities for those who want the safe certification. That's a training community. The second community is for those who are about to get to the job. It's called our school of practice, where we have all the Scrum team preparation and all of that. This is for those who are already certified. We're getting you ready for the job. And the last community we have is what we call our community of practice, where we have those who are on the job and we share all our challenges. We meet lunch, we have a lunch and learn on Saturday. We talk about all what has been going on in the job market. We share, there's so much learning in the community at all levels. All right. That's good for today. When I was exhausted, it was a super weekend. Always happy to share with you. It's quite, I would say sometimes it's challenging to come on live all the Saturdays, but whenever I have the chance, I always like to come on, share with you, and also learn from you. Okay. Do enjoy the rest of the Saturday for all my followers in the UK. I would say, I know it's almost time for you to go to bed. Have a good rest of your Saturday, and one advice for you is that make sure you plan your week on a Sunday. Write how many interviews you want to have for this week. Write a couple of stuff that you still need to learn. Put them on your calendar and make sure you're learning them before throughout the week. That is what is going to help you win. If you can do that, then there is nothing that's going to hold you back. Now, the only time you fail is when you quit. If you don't quit, there is nothing that can stop you. And because we're not quitting, we are not giving up.